with a mindful smile. And the way we do that is we smile as big as we can, and then we connect to what we're experiencing in our body, thoughts, emotions, and breath. It's called the mindful smile. A lot of science behind that, and how smiling really benefits us, and how the practice of mindfulness combined with smiling is even better. So let's do about 15 seconds of that big mindful smile. Do that together. Alrighty. And so for today's practice together, we'll start out with our 1 or 2 minute mindful breath. Do that together. And then I'll give you a brief intro to our 7 or 8 minute mindfulness meditation. And then we'll finish up with some Q&A and comments. So starting with the mindful breath, let's take a comfortable position, whether it's sitting or standing or walking, whatever works best for you. Keep your eyes open or closed, whatever you're comfortable with. I like to close mine because there are fewer distractions that way. And then bringing our attention to the breath as we breathe in and out through the nose. Breathing, noticing when the attention wanders away from the breath. That's an opportune time to take note of where it goes to. Maybe it goes to a thought or an emotion or a physical sensation, taking note of that, and then bringing the attention back to the breath. That attention wandering, very important part of the mindfulness practice, builds up that mindfulness muscle for you. Breathing, fully experiencing the in-breath, then there's a slight pause, and then the out-breath. Noticing the movement of the lower abdomen. Noticing how the breath rolls up into the chest and the shoulders and then back down again. Fully experiencing that breath as it is in this moment. Breathing. Noticing when the breath touches the inside of the nose, goes all the way in, comes back out. Fully experiencing that breath. Okay, so good mindful breath. So today's 8-minute practice, give or take, is going to focus on one of the 5 senses. And today's sense that we'll focus on will be the sense of hearing. And the way we'll do this is we'll kind of warm up to get to that sense of hearing. So we'll warm up with just scanning the body and then sensing that body as a whole and just experiencing the body as a whole. I'll guide you through those first two steps, and then once we're warmed up with that, we'll go into the sense of hearing. It's always good to bring mindfulness to activities where you can engage all five senses. Mindful eating is a great opportunity there. But today we're going to just focus on the one sense of hearing. And so remembering what's mindfulness, why do we do it, how do we do it? What, why, how? Those are always the three key things that you want to be aware of. So the what is paying attention moment by moment on purpose. The why is because mindfulness connects us more deeply to the body being the doorway into the present moment. So in the world of stress, what we've noticed is many people get stuck in that stress cycle, particularly nowadays. And so what happens naturally when we go into that stress cycle and get stuck is we disconnect. It's a way of protecting ourselves from any unpleasantries that might come to us from that stress experience. The problem remains when we get stuck, we're also disconnected for long periods of time. And when we go into the stress cycle, there's a lot of physical, mental, and emotional changes that take place. And we get stuck in those too. I'll give you some examples. For example, when we go into that stress mode and get stuck, digestion shuts down. And if we don't come out of the stress cycle, then the digestion tends to be compromised to a certain degree. We also have instances where we get stuck in the adrenaline cycle. And we've heard many people talk about how they're actually addicted to their adrenaline. So that could be an issue too, where we start to actually feel that addiction to the adrenaline. Another example would be fear. Fear is the prevalent emotion that we experience when we go into fight or flight. So when we're stuck in fight or flight, then we get stuck in that fear mode. And then that tends to discolor and influence the way we experience the events in our lives. And so the other thing would be our breath. When we go into fight or flight, the breath changes from a slow, deep belly breath to a rapid, shallow chest breath. And so we don't want to get stuck in that because then it limits our ability to intake and process oxygen, which is key to all the functioning of our body, particularly memory. There's a lot of issues with memory nowadays. And I think that one of the factors influencing bad memory is our lack of oxygen from improper breathing. So those are just four examples of the many changes that take place when we go into fight or flight, when we get stuck in the stress mode. There are many, many others. And these are just instances of how getting stuck in fight or flight can influence our health in different ways, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so now starting our 8-minute practice, let's once again assume a comfortable position and embody that sense of alert attention, which is really at the core of mindfulness, and also that sense of self-acceptance, just accepting who we are in this moment. It's an aspect of self-compassion, accepting who we are in this moment. And then with the eyes open or closed, bringing our attention to the body, just connecting to the body, connecting to the present moment. Moving the attention around the body. Taking inventory, as it were. We want to notice what's present in all the different parts of the body. And you can move the attention around in any order that you want, just touching base in all the areas of the body, noticing any areas of comfort, discomfort, or neutral. Those are our basic three choices of how we experience things: comfort, discomfort, and neutral. Neutral being nothing in particular. Exploring the body. Staying with the body. Noticing when the attention wanders, making that part of our practice, and then coming back to the body. Noticing where the attention wanders to, and then back to the physical sensations of the body. Just connecting deeply with what we're experiencing in the body in this moment. And then expanding the field of attention to include the entire body at the same time. And then using your creativity and imagination, because everybody approaches this particular practice, a whole body practice, in a little bit of a different way. So you want to experiment and see what works best for you. But opening the field of attention, expanding it so that the entire body is in the field of attention, and then just sensing the body as a whole. Sensing it in whatever way works best for you. Maybe noticing the energy, your energy throughout the body. Maybe noticing the breath throughout the body. Maybe with each in-breath, the entire body expands, and then with each out-breath, the entire body contracts. Just letting your creativity and imagination move you to this experience. Noticing the full body, fully connected to the entire body. And if it's helpful, you can even say the word silently to yourself, the words full body. Sometimes that helps to bring the attention and keep it there to where we want to be right now, full body. Bringing the attention back. If it wanders off, maybe to a thought or an emotion or something like that, which are both, of course, part of the body, but we want to be focusing in on the sensations of the body. Physical sensations. And now shifting the attention to the sense of hearing. Just noticing any sounds that might be present. And if you're in a completely silent room, maybe noticing a lack of sound. But if there are sounds nearby, then just picking up on those sounds. You can also notice internal sounds. Maybe noticing when you're swallowing, maybe there's a slight clicking in your ears, or maybe there's a slight gentle sound in your ears, a slight ringing. In yoga. We call that the Om sound. Just a gentle ringing inside the ears. You can focus on that too. There's a lot of choices for sound, internal sounds and external sounds. So let's stay with these sounds. Connecting to the body, to the present moment, through our sense of listening, sense of hearing. Using that one of the five senses to connect to the present moment. listening. Even just shifting your position might make a sound, listening to that sound that it might make. Noticing any sounds that are present right now or lack of sound. Connecting to the present moment through that sense of hearing. Connecting deeply to the body, going through that pathway of hearing. Walking into the doorway of the body, into the present moment. And now if your eyes are closed, let's open eyes. I like to finish each meditation with the eyes open so as to create that seamless transition between the formal practice of meditation and bringing the qualities of the meditation into our everyday activity. And for me, opening the eyes and continuing to meditate with the eyes open it creates that simulation where I can really sense the experience of the meditation into my daily activity. That way we can be present 24/7. As we move from stress states to balance and then into the flow states where we can really explore our human potential. Those flow states or peak performance or in the zone, whatever you want to call them. And just staying in the meditation for a few more moments. Eyes are open. All right, excellent. So now we can spend a few minutes, if you like. You can share any experiences that you might have had with the meditation practice. Or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address any questions that you might have. Hey, Larry, I see you're here today. And Jaron, good to see you virtually. Hey, Kathy. Yes, better late than never, right? Jerry, let's see. Percentage of time meditating with our eyes closed versus opened. That's a personal thing, completely personal. Whatever works best for you, Jerry. Um, Usually I keep my eyes closed, but just because there are fewer distractions. But if it works well for you with your eyes open, you can do that as well, as long as the distractions don't take you away from the practice. Hey, Carrie. Carrie and Ari are here today. Yeah, so how do we handle an overwhelming emotion using mindfulness? Well, there's two ways we can do that. Number one, hopefully you've got a sustained practice, a regular practice that you're doing, so you're kind of putting mindfulness money in the bank. I mentioned last time that I'm beginning to think of mindfulness as currency. And if we can get a regular practice going, then we start putting that currency in the bank that we can draw upon during hard times. But as we're accumulating our wealth, our mindful wealth, if you're in hard times and overwhelming emotion comes up, I find that the quickest way to deal with that is to bring my attention to the breath. That's my go-to. Can also expand that and connect to the body. That should help you to shift your perspective, your relationship to what you're experiencing, away from the overwhelming experience back into balance and taking you out of that stress mode. All right, so let's finish up today with our 15 or 20-second mindful smile, just like the one we did in the beginning. And so bringing our attention to the smile, big smile, big smile. Let me see your teeth. Of course, I can't see you, but I'll imagine it. And as we're smiling, fully connected to the body so that we're experiencing the products of that smile, physically, mentally, and emotionally. How do we feel? Big smile. Smiling, smiling. All right, excellent. Well, it was good spending time with you today, and nice being with you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 4:30-ish Arizona time, and you all have a great day, the rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.